Hello Tubes, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. It was a quiet time in the house, so I thought I'd get this video out. I fished out one of the sprues from the Clash of Steel box set that was given to me by a good Mara of the channel, Beetle. Not commercially, just as a gift from a fellow Mara friend, buddy. This is a Comet tank, and it's got the same 17-pounder but shorter, or roughly the same 17. But yeah, it is. I believe it is the same 17-pounder that the Sherman Firefly had, and obviously the well-known 17-pounder anti-tank gun. It was made smaller for this tank, and it fired a lot shorter round, so it didn't have as much. It could still do the same damage, but the round was made smaller to fit the tank. I think it was an anti-aircraft round that they played around with. So it is a shorter round, but I think it had a lot of the same hitting power. They were deployed, I believe, in the last couple of months of the war. About 21 were actually knocked out, whether that was all Panzerfausts and German armour or whether it was mines, because whenever you see these numbers of knocked out tanks from whichever side in the war, I mean, obviously a lot go over mines, but it was probably the best tank that the British had, I would think. It was definitely better than the Sherman. It had it had a lot lower profile. I mean, when you see these, I've been looking at several photographs and from the wartime, and that they've they're in column with Shermans and that, and the Shermans look massive in height wise and bulk to them. So they had a low profile. They were extremely quick. They had the much vaunted 17-pounder, albeit slightly changed and made smaller. And they would have gone on a lot longer. In fact, I was reading up on Wikipedia, and I believe Burma, which is now obviously Myanmar or whatever, that I think they were saying that they'd literally had some of those, because they bought about 25 off the British sometime in the 1950s, and they were actually included in a one of these parades that these type of places do. So they're still trundling along. We got rid of them, I believe, in the late 50s purely because with more cuts. It wasn't the cuts to the tanks themselves, it was cuts to the spare parts, and there just wasn't the spare parts, and they weren't prepared to retool them. So classic government will get rid of a perfectly decent tank because we don't have the spare parts. So yeah, I thought I'd put it together. I've not gone for a heavy conversion or anything like that. I am going to mess around with them, put stowage on and that, because I just think that's what I like to do with these. They're mini models for me, so that's what I'm going to do. I've put a rather grumpy looking, I decided to paint him in situ on the tank. Let's just get this off. I thought he looks like Charlie Mack. If Charlie Mack was British, that's a famous Charlie Mack stare, that is. But yeah, he's stuck in, and hopefully he'll stay stuck in, and I'll paint him in situ. I have got magnets actually. I might magnetise the turrets. They got two Beza coaxial Beza machine gun, which was from Czech manufacture, and obviously when the Germans took over Czechoslovakia, they took over all the weapons plants. So you'll often see units with the Beza on an actual tripod. But the Brits tended to use them in their tanks. I'm not sure what the reason is, but obviously you've got coaxial, and you've got driver's position there. Bearing in mind we're right-hand drive over here, in case you're saying, well, if you stuck that gun on the wrong side, Gav. So yeah, nice tank. Got a cast mantlet, which you can't really see. I'm not going to stipple any casting on this at this scale. I will do it on the tanks that really need it, but the only thing cast on this tank was the mantlet, which is covered over mainly by this tarp here to keep the dust out of the working parts of the tank. So got to add I've seen some with two whip antenna, I'm not sure, but they'll go on last. I've just made a wire towing rope to stick on the front here. I've seen some do that. I'll stick some stowage of some description on the back, and I'm going to make as best I can, I'm going to make some the camo netting, but just out of green stuff. I don't think I'm going to try and do it any other way. I think because I'd like to have some on. These comics often had them on the barrels as well. So yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick look. I've drilled out. I tried to drill out. Started drilling out the. I could have made these light guards out of wire and took them off, but again, it makes them more brittle. I saw some tanks with this on the spare piece of track over the one side, so that's what I did. That's about it really. I've seen some where they're quite stowaged up and some slightly after the war. I've even seen some in Kowloon in Hong Kong in the late 50s as part of the garrison there. They were going past a shop front and it had Happy Taylor on and then Cantonese writing at the side of it. And I was thinking, I don't think that's Northwest Europe. And it turned out it was Hong Kong. So yeah, next job, stick stowage on. Hopefully it stays on. And then I'll give it a prime over and then give it a paint. So that'll be one down. It's not a race. I'm not charging through them. It's just I couldn't do anything more on the Napoleonics I'm working on for a client. So I've artificial halt while things dry and whatever. So I thought, I'll stick one of these together because I can prime it at the same time as the 1/16 stroke 120mm Waffen SS figure I showed earlier. So look after yourselves and we'll catch each other very soon on another video.